Welcome to the Everything Podcast. In this episode, I am going to make a channel announcement, and I am recording this episode on the 31st of August 2025. So when you're seeing this, because obviously the podcast isn't live, that it'll be released in September. So happy September, everyone! And as I said, I'm making an announcement. And actually, before I make the announcement, we're going to go back a little bit so I can explain why. So, if you will have noticed, especially if you've been watching or listening to the podcast for the last few months, that 2 episodes have been released every day for the last few months. And me and Matt made that decision together before I started my job, which obviously when I made that decision, I was available 7 days a week to write and record. Now that is not the case. So like this week coming, I've got tomorrow, obviously I'm recording episodes today. I've got tomorrow, but obviously it's Sunday, so we'll start Monday to Sunday. So we'll go tomorrow. I've got a bit of Tuesday, so 1.5 days. Wednesday to Friday with work. Saturday I've got a volunteering course to do, and Sunday, so that's 2.5 days out of 7 that I've got to write and record episodes. Which obviously is a limited amount of time, a much smaller amount of time than I thought I was going to have. Like even if we take out that volunteering course, that's 3.5 days. That's half of the week. So to try and get 14 episodes written and recorded in that time just isn't possible. It was fine when obviously I was catching up, and you could tell because I was saying see you tomorrow and stuff, and then it was basically just catching up, and it worked very well for that. But as soon as the episodes caught up, it was becoming clear, as if you may not have noticed, that Chuck has done a few episodes, has stepped in to do a few episodes recently. Basically, how that works is I do as many as I can, and then Chuck steps in to do that, to cover my episodes, to cover for me whilst I write to record more episodes, more on Chuck a little bit later on. But because of all of these things, and my volunteering is actually starting back in just over exactly a week when you're seeing this episode, that I've made the decision, and I've spoken to Matt about this, that the podcast is going to go back to 1 episode a day. So that's an episode every day. So it's not like how it was for season 1 and the first half of season 2, where it was ever so often. It's not like that. It's because of the time limitations. Basically, and they're going to get worse and worse, because August is a quiet month for me, and has been. And if I wasn't able to do it then I just couldn't see myself doing it. And I actually said this to Matt when I spoke to him about it the other day, and it was 2 days ago from when I'm recording this, and I basically said to him I didn't want it to get to a point where I fell out of love with the podcast, because it was just becoming like very stressful for me to go, I've got to write and record 14 episodes a week. So that's why. But the podcast is it's kind of a middle ground, because it's not fully back to 1 episode a day. I'll come on that in a second, because you will have also noticed that in the last 2 months, since the 2 episodes a day thing have appeared, that kind of there's 2 shorts for every single episode being released as alongside. Plus, there's all of the social media that Matt does. We post all those shorts on the podcast's Instagram and TikTok. We also have the X page, which I've spoken about, and obviously I set up the Spreaker account for it. So if you didn't want to watch the episodes, that you can listen to them. So actually, none of that is kind of disappearing. So kind of the easiest way to explain it, how I explain it to Matt, is everything's staying the same, apart from that 1 episode. I'm only doing 1 episode instead of 2. Now on that, there's a change to the short. So instead of it being 2 per episode, which because there were 2 episodes, there was 4. There's going to be 3 shorts per episode. So you're actually getting more shorts per episode, but less shorts overall, because obviously there's only going to be 1 episode a day. some of the time, because I've spoken to Chuck as well, and we've come to a decision that kind of a few days of the week, Chuck is going to do like bonus episodes, I assume you would call them, where kind of what the episodes have been when he stepped in, kind of those kind of things, maybe some different things, and kind of that takes the pressure off me going, how on earth am I going to write and record 14 episodes? And means, and it's not going to be every day. I'm going to make that perfectly clear. It's not every day like it has been. It's going to be at least twice a week, once or twice a week, and then kind of any more, because Chuck said he might be able to do more. That kind of it will just have to wait and see. Basically, is kind of. But Matt actually asked me when do you want to go back, and I said when, and he said, "Oh, are you going to talk about it?" I said, "Yes." In the first episode where we're going back to the one episode a day. I just wanted to do the episode as well because I didn't want you to go, where's the second episode? Why isn't the one? So I just wanted to the first episode. So from today, whenever this episode is releasing, there will only be one podcast episode a day, apart from some days where there might be two. But definitely one. There will definitely be my episode. So if you, because obviously if you see me in the thumbnail, then that's my episode. Obviously if you see Chuck, then that's obviously not me. But my episodes are guaranteed. So my episodes are coming out every single day. Chuck's episodes are coming out at least once or twice a week, maybe a few more, but certainly not every day. I should make that clear. All the social media stuff staying, Spreaker's staying, none of that's going away. It's just kind of so I don't end up ending the podcast. Because actually I got a message on the mental health episode that I did not long ago saying, "Oh, I really like the podcast. I hope you never quit." And I think it was that kind of got into my head, and I was like, am I doing this? How do I feel about this? Because I've spoken about this before. The podcast has always been a place where I'm happy and I enjoy doing it. And I didn't want to get to a point where I was kind of ripping my hair out, going, how on earth am I going to record? And it got to a point where I just wasn't able to do it because of work commitments, basically. Like if I'm working 3 or 4 days out of 7, that's half of the week. So hopefully by going back to 7, you'll get me every day. Whereas the day that I'm recording this, there are no episodes with me because of me being able to record. Because me writing the episodes isn't the issue; it's me recording them sometimes that becomes the issue. But yeah, that's the announcement, and I wanted to talk about it so you all were aware of what was going on, and it wasn't just a big surprise, or I put it in the community tab. I could have done that, but I chose to do it this way. But we've got loads and loads of interesting episodes coming up. Some that have been brought on by a comment. We've got How I Met Your Mother episode coming up, and we've got some new features that I hope you'll enjoy. But let me know what you thought of my announcement of going back to one episode a day in the comments below, as well as any previews or recaps. You can put those in the comments below as well. Remember, you also like, comment, and subscribe. And just a reminder that there are multiple formats of the podcast. So obviously, it will stay on YouTube. And I should mention that Chuck's episodes will be exclusive on YouTube. So if you listen to it on Spreaker through the audio, or you want the audio only versions, you won't find Chuck's episodes on there. Spreaker is where I put my episodes on there. I don't put Chuck's there. So just kind of another incentive, and Matt and Matt should be slightly better. He's not having to animate 14 episodes a week at maximum 10, probably, yeah. Definitely 7 and a few of Chuck's thrown in there, sprinkled in across the week as well. But yeah, so please keep supporting the podcast on YouTube, and if you want to listen to it on Spreaker, just so you're aware, Chuck's episodes won't be there. But without further ado, I will see you in a future episode of the podcast. See you then. Goodbye.